Hi, friends. I just got out. Well, we just got out.
Hi.
We just got out of watching Kung Fu Panda 4. And I'd been hearing that it was kind of just another movie. A movie of all time. A sequel of all time. I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe it's just because this is a kind of movie that I like. I like movies like this where it's callbacks to originals. It's like revisiting your roots.
Your childhood.
Yeah, well...
It was my childhood for me.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't watch the original Kung Fu Panda
I've only
until
seen the
I was
first one.
like in my mid-teens or something.
I
didn't grow up watching Kung Fu Panda. It came out... It was a little bit of a newer movie, so... I didn't see very much of it. Like, DreamWorks movies weren't really that much of my childhood until I was 14 or 15, I think, when I watched the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, and that took me down the route of Race to the Edge quite quickly after that, I think. Or no, actually, no. How to Train Your Dragon I watched in 2014, I think. I might be wrong. I'll edit below if that's wrong. I think I watched Race to the Edge in 2016. And then from there on, I became obsessed with How to Train Your Dragon from that point on. So it was probably around that time when I really got into DreamWorks movies, with Kung Fu Panda being one of the first that I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 movie. This movie is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And then the second movie got even better somehow. Mm-hmm. It's a rare treat to find a sequel that's as good, if not even better. I don't know about better, but it's certainly, like, I don't know about better or more enjoyable, but like, because the first one is the classic. The first one was phenomenal, like, seriously amazing, one of the greatest animated movies of our time. And the second movie easily lived up to that, if not slightly overtook it. Shea Frillis Productions just did a video on the second movie that I highly recommend you watch for his thoughts, because those are pretty much all my thoughts. So I'm not going to go into detail. I pretty much agree with pretty much everything he said, except I like the fun, funky, slapsticky action. That's a plus in my book, whereas it was a negative in his book. Then the third movie came along. The third movie feels different, but it's still incredibly good. Sadly, it kind of suffered from the cliche of we just know how to focus on the main character and the sidekicks aren't involved much. The other four Kung Fu masters, Crane, Mantis, Monkey, and Viper. With Tigress being a main character in the third movie. So that was kind of what redeemed that cliche for me. That was my only cliche that I really had an issue with the third movie. The fourth movie was very good. I will start off with that for sure. The fourth movie was incredibly good. I would give it a solid 8.5 or 9 out of 10. Like,
I give it a 10 out of 10.
She gives it a 10 out of 10. And I definitely agree. I definitely understand. I think that's valid for sure. I'll probably, for now, I'll stake it at an 8.5 out of 10. DreamWorks rarely misses. Megamind 2. Womp womp.
I read about
Trollhunters, Rise of the Titans. Womp womp. But those were Netflix's fault. Mm-hmm. If that's what...
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Netflix even did Megamind 2. I think that was like Peacock or Paramount Plus or some trash. Anyways, I have two complaints. First and biggest complaint is one of my least favorite cliches, when they don't know what to do with the main character's friends, and they just write them off being like, oh, they're off doing some other mission. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's lazy.
Yeah, but it gave Poe room to shine.
I agree.
It gave the new character,
Zen.
Well, what got me is that she, at the
was
end,
actually a good, well-written character.
Yes.
Fortunately, to the movie's credit, because the other characters weren't there, it gave Poe a lot of room to mature and grow even more. Mm-hmm. That's what's really cool. I'm going to compare Kung Fu Panda 4 to Cars 3. On one hand, Kung Fu Panda 4 did this plot wonderfully, and Cars 3 did this plot horrendously. I hate how In Cars 3, they go about it where McQueen is old. It doesn't feel like any time has passed at all. Like, they just said he's been racing for years. We haven't seen that. It doesn't feel like he's any older to us. Owen Wilson doesn't sound any older. Lightning McQueen's successor just kind of comes into the scene, basically replaces Mater as McQueen's best friend, and just kind of retcons the whole thing. It's kind of an example of character assassination. I am a ginormous fan of Cars 1 and 2, and then 3, I try to pretend it doesn't exist. I will definitely talk about those later. I really want to. Those are some of my favorite movies ever. 1 and 2. Hate me in the comments if you want. Cars 3 was like that, where McQueen just felt like he suddenly lost all his prowess, all his awesomeness, all of his training and years of experience. Felt like it was kind of all for nothing, because the car that was supposed to train him was better than him, and he just wasn't as good as he used to be, with no real explanation. Cars 3 just doesn't work for me. Whereas Kung Fu Panda 4 is a masterful tale of Po going around and having the same character perks and flaws as before. He's still easily distracted. He's still very food focused, but he's definitely got ADHD, which is really actually fun that they leaned into that a little bit here and there. I thought it was a fun touch for sure. Po, he's the same character as before, but you definitely feel like he's experienced with it because he has Oogway's staff that Oogway gave him at the end of 3. It feels like he has a badge to corroborate his experiences in the form of the Staff of Wisdom. It makes sense when Shifu says that Po needs to start thinking about finding a successor to start training. Because we've actually followed Po along a lot of adventures at this point. Makes sense that it's time for him to start looking for a successor. Po loves being the Dragon Warrior. He doesn't want to keep growing. He feels like he's grown enough. And that really resonated with me as someone who struggles a lot with continuing to grow. It is a struggle at times. The writers of all 4 of these movies so far have done a really good job at making Po the kind of character that can continue to grow, and he can retain all of that growth and still grow more. He's an ever-growing character. It's not like he has one arc to complete and then he's a perfect character. No. He still has more to grow. I really liked him the whole way through, as I've always liked him. He's always been great. Even when he was a weak, fat panda kid, to now, he just keeps getting better and better and better at his kung fu stuff. And he has the staff to corroborate this. When it's time for him to find a successor, it's a successor, not a replacement. That was my big issue with Cars 3. It feels like McQueen's, whatever the yellow car's name was, that's how little I like that movie. I don't even remember her name. Where she became literally McQueen's replacement rather than his successor. It just didn't work well. I get what they were going for, and I'm not opposed to the idea. It was just executed really poorly. Put Mater in there more. Help Mater help McQueen come to terms with the fact that he's growing old. Expand on their friendship more instead of however it happened. I don't remember. I need to give it another honest look because I'm very anti-Cars 3. Cruz Ramirez. Okay, Cruz. It is a fun name, I'll admit. If I had one word to explain Kung Fu Panda 4 with, it is cliches and tropes. Put that as one word. Cliches and tropes. But that's not a bad thing if you do them well. A good writer can take any trope and any cliche and can make them into a masterful soup that is pleasing to your senses. Mr. Ping will be very happy for that soup joke. Mr. Ping had a lot more screen time in this, and I loved every second of it.
I loved how both of the dads got to be in it more.
Yeah, both of Poe's dads were growing closer together as friends, bonding over their shared love of Poe. It was very wholesome. I really enjoyed that part. They were definitely the focus of the slapstick, kind of goofy, kid-focused comedy. That's okay. It is a movie for kids, and it was still funny. I laughed. It was great.
To them.
What's the point of a kid's movie unless there is a level of maturity to it that helps them grow into a better, more mature person? I'm probably butchering the quote, but in the words of C.S. Lewis, it's not a good children's story unless an adult can enjoy it and learn from it too. It's something along those lines. I am almost inclined to set it up as a canon that a children's story which is enjoyed only by children is a bad children's story. The good ones last. A waltz which you can like only when you are waltzing is a bad waltz. C.S. Lewis. It's not the classic, you've become the ultimate kung fu master, what else is there to learn? It's like, no, there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. And that's what life is. You never stop learning. You never stop growing unless you have a problem as a person. If you are a good person, you will be humble enough to keep growing. That was the magic of Po in this movie. Loved every second of it. Zhen was a wonderful character that I think is a very fitting successor. They didn't end the movie, though, with her taking over or replacing Po. No, Po's still Dragon Warrior, but he's training her to take over in the future. He started the training. I think that's great. If they're going to do a Kung Fu Panda 5, I look forward to see more of their adventures. Given that they don't drop the ball, I sure hope they don't, because I would actually like to see a 5th Kung Fu Panda. She started off as a petty thief who was pretty streetwise to begin with, but she had room to grow into being a more trusting and compassionate, discerning character, and she grew quite quickly and quite well. All of it made sense. All of it was written well. She was great. Honestly, I'll give her an 8 or 9 out of 10, simply because it is the same cliche, again, of the older guy master training the younger girl protege. Cars 3 didn't do it well. Hawkeye, I did not like Hawkeye because I couldn't stand Kate Bishop, and I love Clint Barton. I love Hawkeye. He was great, and I loved him, and I felt like every step of the way, both of them as in Cruz as well as Kate Bishop, were discounting and disrespecting their instructors and acting like they knew best. When the master knows best, you listen. Zhen is actually pretty competent of a character to begin with. So it made sense when she took the reins, and it made sense when Po took the reins. Po is assertive enough to tell her, no, we do it this way, stop it. Like, he was the big brother rather than the old man pushover. He was the big brother character who helped guiding Zhen the way that she needed to go. Whenever she would revert back to stealing and being a petty thief, Po would revert her wrongs. And it was a pain in his butt to deal with her, but he kept with her. I loved every second of Po's training of Zhen and just getting to know her and keeping up with her and tolerating her. It was great. Really liked it. Then there's the villain, the chameleon. My only complaint, just give her a better name. Make the chameleon be her surname. Her code name. Yeah. Give her a real name. Then there are, spoiler alert if you don't want to be spoiled on what happens, so I guess the trailers showed it. If you don't want spoilers, skip to this timestamp. The plot that the chameleon had was that she was too small to be a good kung fu master. Thought that was a little silly because look at Mantis. He's tiny. He's a little guy. He's just a little guy. But he's a great kung fu master. Chameleon could have been. I guess that's just a testament to Oogway and Shifu's accepting nature, whereas other kung fu dojos rejected the chameleon because she was too small, too weak. She just basically wasn't force sensitive, more or less. Yeah. Just wasn't cut out for kung fu. So she turned to sorcery instead so that she could steal the kung fu magic kung fu moves, I guess. That part was a little bit of a cliche, but it works for the plot of the story. It works for the point. I thought it was great because I thought it was going to be cringe. I thought it was going to be a little off the cuff, but somehow they turned it around into something that surprised me with actually being pretty cool. I never had really any complaints with the first Kung Fu Panda movie, but now I'm realizing kind of would have been cool to see Tai Lung accept that he's wrong. I mean, he never really did need it, but in this movie, she brings back all the kung fu masters of the past and steals their kung fu and turns into this giant shape-shifting mess of moves and styles and body forms. And it was a really cool fight, really imaginative, really well paced, really well shot. I really liked the fight. It was really cool. Ty Lee was her first target, really, of the kung fu that she wanted to steal, because she wanted his nerve attack. And Ty Lee made it very clear to Po when he was pulled out of the spirit realm and his powers were drained. When Po says that he's going to fix everything, he's going to return them to the spirit realm with their powers, Tai Lung makes it very clear that he still resents Po for stealing his opportunity as a dragon warrior. Tai Lung makes it very clear that he doesn't believe Po can do it. And Po shows him up. Po shows him he can do it. And he gave Zhen the opportunity to shine, while Po still was the one who finished the fight, as he needed to be. It was great. They didn't usurp him from doing it, and I thought they were going to for a second, but it actually gave Zhen a moment to shine, rather than having Zhen steal the show from Po, who needed to finish it. And when Po inevitably wins the day and returns the powers to Tai Lung actually says, "I guess you are a worthy dragon warrior, Panda. I underestimated you. Good job." I don't know what it was, but that
made me
felt
squeal.
good. That felt really good. Because it's the same old cliche of bring back the big bad villains from the past. Like, bring them back from the dead. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. But they executed it really well. They executed it really, really well. It was crazy to me. They did. It was really good. It brought closure that I didn't know we needed.
That closure actually felt really nice to have, because for me, I was just living in the sense of like, they're going to come back one day, watch them come back.
That being said, it's more of a case of, yes, the original Kung Fu Panda is a full course meal. Everything leaves you satisfied. This is just a nice little dessert on the side that you didn't need, but it really feels good going down. It's just a nice little cherry on the top of the sundae. The first one, and by that I mean second point, the sound design is a little weird. Whenever you are to the back of a character, it gets like muffled, and they're going for a more experimental surround soundy, I guess. Well, the cool idea just needs a little more polishing. I like the concept. I think it's really cool and maybe it'll sound better in headphones or in a better sound system. I think my theater has good speakers, but we were still base level. We weren't like in IMAX or anything. It probably would have been better there. Probably would have felt like their voice was going from in front of you to behind you, because it got really muffled at some points when you were to the back of whoever was speaking. Really cool concept, just need a little more polishing. That was my other issue. Yeah, that's all I have on my mind at the moment. Really enjoyed it. Solid 8.5 or 9 out of 10. Despite the cliches of they don't know what to do with the side characters and the apprentice taking over for the master, who we appreciate and doesn't feel very old, and the villains returning and all that. It's a lot of cliches. It's a lot of tropes. But once again, this movie handled them masterfully. I was very impressed. I enjoyed every second of it. Yes, there are some cheesy parts. Yes, there are some goofy parts. I hope you have a childlike sense of humor. Childlike, not childish. Childlike sense of humor. Yeah, come into this movie expecting a good time, not to be like, oh, everything has to be perfect, because it's not. But it's pretty darn close. Sequels are hard to do. It's hard to do sequels without some level of character retconning, or in the worst cases scenario, character assassination. Like Troll Hunters Rise of the Titans, or Cars 3, or the ending of Dune 2. Just character assassination ticks me off. This is not a movie with any amount of character assassination. It's character growth, character development, character mastery, I would say. I enjoyed it. very much. Would highly recommend it to anyone who likes Kung Fu Panda. And yeah, those are my initial thoughts of Kung Fu Panda 4. Solid 8.5 out of 10. Really liked it. Hope you have a great night. And I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.